Disney World turns 50 years old this month. Firefighters sue Orange County. Oakland commissioners revisit their student mask mandate. And a WinterGarden man gets laid off, but believes it was God's plan. The date is October 7th, 2021. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange. This is your news. We begin in 10 seconds.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
Now, those jonesing for a blizzard in WinterGarden may get an early holiday gift as a new DairyQueen Grill and Chill nears completion on West Colonial Drive. DairyQueen first announced the DQ Grill and Chill concept in 2002. Today, there are more than 2,000 locations serving ice cream and hot food. Now, the business owners for this particular location state that they are hoping for a December opening. Now, there's a nice story about this topic, including a lot of great quotes from the business owners in this week's paper. So I encourage you to check that out. The long-anticipated Walt Disney World 50th anniversary celebration is finally here. 50 years ago, on October 1st, 1971, the Walt Disney World Resort officially opened. Now, on top of the new rides, attractions, entertainment, fireworks, a new kite show, and different food offerings, the celebration will also extend beyond the theme parks at the Disney Resort hotels and Disney Springs. The celebration will go on for 18 months. Learn all the details at orangeobserver.com, where Annabelle Sykes lays it all out for you. Now, in this next story, we have a large group of Orange County firefighters. Now, in Orange County, all the firefighters are also EMTs and paramedics. So a large group of Orange County firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics are suing the county. Now, they came together and filed a lawsuit against Orange County over its mandate requiring either proof of a COVID-19 vaccination or regular negative COVID test. Now, the firefighters say, according to the lawsuit, that they have been subject to, quote, harassment, including threat of discipline, up to and including termination, and public maligning for their personal decisions regarding how they can best protect their bodies in order to continue to perform their rigorous requirements of their job as first responders, end quote. Mayor Dimmings of Orange County disagrees. He states, quote, I believe the decisions we've made have been in the best interest of everyone, including our firefighters, end quote. All the details regarding the lawsuit are found on our website, and that, of course, is orangeobserver.com. Now, that's a good place to get your hyperlocal news. Another good place, the old school way, is putting that paper in your hands. And you go around town, you'll see these big red boxes. You swing them open, they got a free paper for you inside. One such location is Gymnastics USA, right there on West Colonial Drive. Gymnastics USA happens to be one of our sponsors and happens to be my gymnastics center. That's right, that's a sponsor of ours. My brother and I opened it in 2014. So that's one way, the big red box. But you can also do what you're doing now, the West Orange on the Go. That's where I go through and I read some headlines, I lay them out, and I make some comment sometimes. This is local news and comment. But most importantly, I think you need to get involved with your hyperlocal news because it's important. So go to our Facebook page, go to our website, hit the subscribe buttons, and you will be better for it because together we are more informed. Now let's get back to some of our hyperlocal news. Another COVID-related hyperlocal news story here. Subtitle reading, a discussion about the latest Orange County Department of Health ruling and students wearing masks at Oakland Avenue Charter School grew intense at the September 28th Oakland Town Commission meeting. Now, a little background here. Orange County has a mandate in place, a mask mandate, that all the children in the schools must wear masks. Now, the Florida Surgeon General has an order in place that is effective law, stating that parents must be able to opt out. Oakland has its own charter school, and they normally tend to follow Orange County guidelines and decisions. However, here they find themselves in a difficult place because they have to decide whether they want to follow Orange County or follow the Surgeon General. Now, that's my background breakdown. So in Ms. Quessenberry's story, she quotes Commissioner Mike Satterfield, who chastised OCPS for, quote, picking and choosing what part of the law they obey, end quote, and said that the commission needs to decide if it is going to follow the law. Commissioner Saul Ramos asked, quote, are you saying OCPS is breaking the law, end quote, to which Commissioner Satterfield replied, yes. So we have to decide whether or not we want to break the law along with them, end quote. The assistant town attorney said if the town maintains its mask mandate at Oakland Avenue Charter School, it is not obeying the law. Mayor Kathy Stark opened the meeting to comments, and many parents took their turn at the podium to state their opinions for or against the mask. One parent for the mask mandate stated, quote, Mayor Stark and the commissioners who voted to protect our kids at the emergency meeting, I am grateful. It's a peace you have given me as a parent, as a mother. It is a gift. Protecting my kids is really all I can ask of my government, end quote. Other citizens didn't agree, however. One parent, Terry Fletcher, gave the commission 47 studies he said proved masks are ineffective. Fletcher then went on and said, quote, we're fed up with this. We're tired of this. Unmask our kids. You are abusing our children. You are suffocating them. And we've had enough of it. Another person during public comments stated, quote, most of the teachers are against the mask. Their biggest challenge is making sure the kids go home with the right mask at the end of the day, end quote. Although it was clear there were differences of opinions on the board, they did vote unanimously to follow the DOH emergency rule, and the masking of children at OaklandCharter will now be optional and decided by parent discretion. In other news surrounding our students, the homeschooled students of Classic Conversations in WinterGarden had a big celebration for Constitution Day. The students and community came together September 17th to celebrate the anniversary of the Constitution, which was ratified 234 years ago. The students invited important people from West Orange. In attendance included Pam Jones, who represented United States Representative Daniel Webster, Orange County 9th Judicial Circuit Court Judge Elizabeth Joy Gibson, and Air Force veteran A.J. John. The students recited the Pledge of Allegiance, read from the Constitution, including from the Bill of Rights, and the event concluded with a testimony of true U.S. citizenship by one Anita Barrito. She shared about the religious freedom she sought, the home education opportunity she desired, and how her family was granted citizenship just recently as they transitioned to Florida from India. The group's 9th grade class director, Rebecca Garcia, summed it up thus, quote, in all, this ceremony was an opportunity for our community to open its doors to display our love for learning, our love for country, and our love for our neighbors, end quote. And now let's move on to our hyper-local sports with our sports high five for this week. Number 1, Windermere took home the Metro West Conference tournament title Saturday, October 2nd, after it defeated Olympia in the finals. The Wolverines won all 6 sets during the 3 rounds they played. The Warriors celebrated a 45-7 thrashing of Dr. Phillips in the Old Orange Crate game. And the Windermere High School Fighting Wolverine Band dominated the competition at the 17th Annual University Classic on Saturday by being crowned overall grand champion, also acquiring many section and individual awards. Number 2, Windermere Prep basketball player Jaden Williams announced his commitment to Dartmouth University. Number 3, Dr. Phillips' cheerleading team will be hosting a fundraiser tonight, that is October 7th, at the California Pizza Kitchen at Mall at Millennia. Number 4, Central Florida Christian Prep celebrates its homecoming game Friday, October 8th, as it hosts Cedar Creek Christian. Number 5, there will be 6 Thursday games this week, with Dr. Phillips, West Orange, Windermere, and Horizon playing at home. Olympia and Lake Buena Vista go on the road. The Panthers will play Cocoa. West Orange takes on Boone. Windermere goes against East River. Olympia plays Timber Creek. Lake Buena Vista travels to Colonial. And Horizon will host Cyper Creek. As always, fans can purchase tickets on the GoFan app. Now we're about to get into the final story. But before we do, let me tell you about our title sponsor, Foundation Academy. They've been serving Christ-centered education to the students and family of West Orange since 1958. Foundation Academy, where character matters. Longtime WinterGarden resident Mark Newman had spent more than 2 decades working for Walt Disney World, and he had been furloughed in April 2020. About a year ago, Mark received a call back from Disney, and he thought the call was to welcome him back to the job he held for 2 decades. Instead, the call was to lay him off. What's more, Newman's department retained 60% of its employees, but seemed to have only kept those who were younger and lower paid with less experience. Newman is quoted here in the article, "I lived for Disney. I couldn't even understand it. And the more I thought about it, the more emotional and difficult it became. For me, I'm a very religious person. So I just felt it was God's way of saying, that's not what I want you to do anymore." End quote. Newman has 3 sons, together with his wife, Laura. She stated that the news was devastating. Quote, "It was like we lost a part of who we were." 1 year later, the Newmans now see the silver lining manifested in Mark Newman's woodworking talents. Today, the Newmans own and operate what they call It All Started With a Flag, which sells Mark Newman's handcrafted, wooden, customized U.S. flags. The business has grown. It's grown a lot. They sold about 2,000 flags since its inception in November 2020, and said he now makes about 30 pieces a week. Each flag is made of solid pine wood, hand cut to size, stained, carved, torched, and sealed. Now, these things are beautiful. In the newspaper, you could see some of them, and they're just incredible. Although Newman has more than 70 designs on his website, he said his true satisfaction remains with the classic American flags. Quote, "I can make 1,000 American flags and still feel good every time I make one. I love this country, and there isn't another one like it." End quote. Mr. Newman's story reminds us that in this country, if you work hard, you're persistent, have a positive attitude, through adversity can come greatness. It may not be on our timeline. It may not be the way we wanted it to be. But I believe that through faith, great things will come on God's timeline in the way He wants it to be. I believe Mr. Newman's story is inspiring, and I thank him for sharing it with us. I think that West Orange is well represented in a story like this. We're a hard-working community. We're a positive community. And that's why I love this community. So I want to thank you for taking the time to walk through this week's Hyperlocal news with me. Together, we are more informed, but I want to hear your feedback, questions, and ideas. Message me by visiting WestOrangeOnTheGo.com. That's WestOrangeOnTheGo.com. This has been Austin Arthur with the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.